Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to Monday. This is your writing lesson. Mr. Parsons here with you on the 1st of February. Pinch, punch, first day of the month. I can't believe we've left January behind already. Let's hope February is a bit better than January. Well, I've got loads more writing lined up for you today, and I really look forward to my writing lessons every day with you. I hope you've been enjoying them. Well, we're continuing to work through the same story, but looking at different aspects of it. So let's get started with Monday's writing lesson. So just to remind you, we're going to continue to entertain dragon enthusiasts with our narrative writing. The Dragon Snatcher is still the focus of our book by M.P. Robertson. We've moved through the story. We've learnt about George and the dragon at the beginning. We did loads of really good quality writing last week, all about that flight. Do you remember the excitement of the flight? And then the changing chill as we approached the castle. And then we discovered that evil dragon, and we were describing the dragon. Well, we build up to the climax of our story today by meeting the wizard character and going into a lot more detail about the wizard. And by the end of the week, we'll be writing about the battle, the resolution to the story. So there he is, the evil wizard. And you can notice George up in the corner has spotted him. Well, before we get onto the wizard in any detail today, I want us to think about how we're going to describe characters generally. So today we are going to be learning to collect and improve vocabulary to describe a wizard, because we want to entertain our reader and make our writing worth reading. So your success criteria today are to sort and collect the vocabulary to describe, and we're going to edit to improve the description to ensure that we communicate the wizard is evil and mysterious. Here's another picture of a character by the same author, M.P. Robertson, but this time it's not from our story, it's from a different parallel story. And you can see we have a rather evil looking witch. So this is a little bit like my waggle, what a good one looks like. A good quality piece of writing from you today will look like this. But instead of having the witch in the middle, you're going to have the wizard in the middle. Let's see how M.P. Robertson has described this witch. Let's go through each of these descriptions. A jagged hat, wild hair, putrid breath. So for each of those three, you can see you've got the noun, so in this case breath, and then the adjective to describe it is putrid. Hunched by a cauldron. So there we've got an action. What is the witch doing? She's hunched by the cauldron. We could use an adjective to describe the cauldron if we wanted to. Back up here, we've got fingernails is the noun. The adjectives are unsightly and grimy. Unsightly means not nice to look at or ugly. We've got held a helpless toad by one fragile leg. So we've got the noun of the toad. We've got the verb held. The adjective describes the noun. So what is she doing? She held a helpless toad. And then we've got an added information at the end here by one fragile leg. Her mouth, which is gaping. So the adjective gaping to describe the mouth, a gaping mouth. We've got a tongue, and that is wart-covered, a wart-covered tongue. Sounds hideous, doesn't it? And another way of describing the mouth is a decaying mouth. So M.P. Robinson's used all these sorts of phrases to describe one of the other characters. So here we have our wizard from our story. I've given you the name wizard here, but actually there's lots of other words we could use when describing him. See if you recognize any of these. Sorcerer, warlock, magician, witch doctor, conjurer, shaman. I would only suggest you use words that you're familiar with, but you might recognize 2 or 3 of those words. So instead of saying the wizard, the wizard, the wizard, when you do your writing later in the week, you could start to expand your vocabulary with some of these. So here is your core task for today. On the sheet, I've given you a picture of the wizard, and underneath, I've given you an enormous word bank of ideas that you might like to use. I have deliberately thrown in some vocabulary that is not appropriate to this wizard, so you have to be selective. Also, when I'm giving you a new word or a word that I think you might not have come across before, in brackets, I've given you a definition to help you. Now, the words in the word bank are just a start. What I'd like you to do is take these words in the word bank and use them to help you make your labels. If you remember from the witch, it wasn't just single words, it was phrases to describe those things, often a noun phrase. So you'd have the noun, the part of the witch or the wizard, and then an adjective to go with it. So if I were to be describing his fingers here, I could select the word scrawny, because scrawny means thin and bony, and his fingers are thin and bony. So I could label his fingers as scrawny fingers. There are some words on here that you definitely wouldn't use, like pristine, because pristine means clean. Like the cleanest thing you could imagine would be described as pristine, no dirt at all. And I don't think that's necessarily right for this character, so I wouldn't use that one. Wrinkly could be used. Have a look at which part you would label as wrinkly. Could be that you label his forehead as a wrinkly forehead, or it could be that you add wrinkly to the description of the fingers. Scrawny, wrinkly fingers. Or you might like the word bony, scrawny, bony fingers. That would all work fine. You don't have to label every single thing, but I would expect to see at least 6 to 10 labels around that wizard. Use a ruler to draw your arrows to point to the part that you're describing, and then I'd like that writing done very neatly. I'd like it straight, horizontal. Draw a line if you need to help your writing, and I expect the spelling to be really, really good, particularly if you use one of the words out of my word bank, you must spell that word correctly, please. For an extension, you can, of course, add your own words. So you're free to use your very best word power to add your own words to it too. So don't feel that you are constrained to only use the words I've provided. If you'd like that task simplified, then I have actually created some of these noun phrases here that will help you, but not all of them are correct. So I've put thick, strong fingers, thin and bony fingers. You choose the correct one and add the label yourself. You can even cut out the label and stick it on into the correct place on the sheet. So be careful to only use the correct ones because not all of them are applicable to this character. So have fun with today's lesson, be as experimental as you like, and it would be really nice if maybe you could even add a simile or two. Can you think of a simile to describe the hook of his nose? Can you use a simile to describe how wrinkled his forehead is? Have fun with it. I can't wait to see what you produce today. Take care.